Kids, welcome to another little watercolor class tutorial. I thought that I would show you something very cool on how we can create glass with watercolor and the types of things that we can do with that once we've done the first part and some details to add also. So what you'll need for this is just watercolor paper. Obviously you'll need paintbrushes, your paint, and just a pencil. What I'm going to be doing first with this one is just creating, and this is an A5 size, this is watercolor paper, so you will need watercolor paper. I'm just going to create a U like this with a few little, just an edge on either side. These ones here I might make a little bit bigger, and this one here also. Okay, so just want to do 4 of these. I've done my my pictures here a little bit darker. Normally you wouldn't use pencil pressing down too much because you don't want it to be seen all the time through your watercolor painting, but just so you can see on the screen here the shapes that I've done. Again, I haven't been perfect with my shapes. I don't aim to be perfect in this class. This is all about just having fun and just making it your picture, not exactly like mine. So if your U's don't look like mine are a little bit wonky, that is okay. Alright, so we've done that first part. Now what I want you to do here might sound a little bit strange for those of you who haven't done something like this before. I'm just going to put clear water in all of these. So just filling up these little areas here with clear water. So yes, it will sound a little bit strange, I know. So let's just fill this with clear water. And once I've done that, sometimes you've got to work a little bit quickly with watercolor because it does dry. And then what I'm going to do now is just choose a blue color and just making sure, again, I've got paint and water on my brush, and I'm just going to do the edges with the watercolor. I'm just going to dot around the edges. Now can you see what's happening as I'm doing that? Just dotting around the edges here. Okay, now because I've got water in this whole space here, you can see that it is pulling, and you might like to just move your page around a little bit too. You can do that. So I've got quite a bit of water on this one. Okay, so there we go. Let's do another one. Let's see what happens with this one. Let's fill this area again with just clear water. I've got a little bit of paint on my brush, I think. So yeah, this is just clear water. If it looks a little bit blue, that's why. Okay, again, just clear water. And we're going to do the same thing. Get the blue paint again and just go on the outside of the line. So you're not filling in the whole thing, you're just going on the outline here. Okay, so there's our second one. Pretty cool, isn't it? Alright, let's do the last 2. So filling this in with water again. My wonky looking shape here, they're not all exactly the same. You know what, it's on purpose. We don't need to try and make it perfect. Okay. Filling it in with water again. I want you to enjoy the process. It's so cool when this happens. So again, I'm just going to go just touching that very edge line, and you can see because I have this water here, it's just running all into the inside, which is just very cool. Okay, last one. Again, let's just fill this in with water. Clear water. And let's do that one more time. Again, just the edges. So, touching the edges. And you can see here, just moving into that middle space, but oh, isn't that beautiful to watch? And you can see that kind of looks like a glass, right? And you were probably thinking when I said that, Happycaz, I can't paint glass. Well, you just did, and it was super fun, wasn't it? Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to wait for this to dry, and we're going to come back to it and add some very cool details. So be patient, wait for it to dry, and then you'll be able to finish the rest of this video where I can show you what you can add to these little vases. Are your little glasses dry? Mine are dry now, so I'm really excited to show you what we can add inside them just to give them a little bit more fun and interest. So you're going to need a straw for this. If you haven't used a straw before for watercolor painting, it's one of my favorite things to use. So I've got a little straw here, so you run and get one as well. You can press pause on this video and I will wait and come back and let's put some very cool little pictures inside these glasses. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the green to start with, and again I'm using lots of water here because I want this to be able to move, and I'm going to add a few little dots down the bottom, and we're going to be doing this with all of our glasses. Let me just show you what will happen. Okay, so if I get my straw and I just blow on the side like this. Wow, how cool is that? All right, so we're going to do that on the other ones. Now, I didn't know where this was going to go, so don't be upset if it goes outside the glass. We're just having a little bit of fun and happiness, aren't we? All right, so let's add maybe another green on this other one over here. Maybe a darker green. And what we're going to do with the straw with this one is we're going to be moving it side to side, and let's see the difference that makes when we move the straw from side to side. This one's growing right out of there, isn't it? That's okay. I think I might just add another type of green up here, and we'll move this a bit faster side to side because I didn't do quite what I wanted it to do. I got a bit excited about where it was going. Okay, I might just pull this up a little bit here, and I'm going to be moving my straw side to side really quickly. Okay, you can see here that this again has gone a little bit out of the glass, but that's okay. We're not creating perfect pictures. We're just giving you some ideas here, and this is heaps of fun. So let's add one more green one over here. Maybe a lighter green for this one. All right, perhaps some of you might be able to see what these could be. So again, we're using the straw. Okay, now so can you see they all look just a little bit different, which is very cool. Now, what else can we add? These are looking like, maybe you have guessed already, I feel like these are looking like aquariums, aren't they? And in an aquarium, you have lots of, little plant type life, but there's also a lot of fish. And let me show you a really easy way that we can add fish into these little aquariums. If you notice on your brush, I've got a couple of different type size brushes here on purpose. So I've got a longer one, and I've also got a really short one, and I've got a thicker one also. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is using the shape of these brushes to create fish inside our aquariums. So let me just demonstrate, and again, pick colors that you love. I'm going to start with a bright color because I know that you can see that really well. Again, making sure we've got lots of water on our paint here in our brush. So I'm just going to use my brush. I've got the paint on here, and I'm going to just press down, and I'm going to lift up, and then I'm going to press down and lift up again, and I'm going to press down, lift up, and press down. Who can see my little fish? That was pretty easy, wasn't it? Now, you might like to just add a few little lines on the ends of these if you like. Okay, so there's my fish for this one. Let's try a different size brush. Now I showed you the larger brush. That's going to be quite a big fish, isn't it? So maybe this one only has one fish. So let's pick a color for this one. Maybe I'll pick a nice, like a pinky color this one is, I think. So I just want to make sure my whole brush is covered with this particular color, because as I showed you just before, we're literally just pressing down the brush, press down and lift up, and there's my big fish in that one. And again, I'm just going to add two little fins on the back. Alright, so let's add another fish. Maybe I'll try the smaller brush this time and pick a different color just for a bit of difference here. And maybe these fishes are going up this way, so we're going to press down, lift up, press down, lift up, press down, lift up, press down, lift up. You've got a whole school of fish in here. There we go. Isn't that an easy way to do fish? Okay. And again, if you want, you can just add a little fins on the back here. Again, I am not being ultra perfect with this. We're just having a little bit of fun. Okay. And if you like, whilst these are still wet, you might like to add other colours in. So for example, this one I've just done before, I can just add maybe some other colours. You know, when we were looking at one of our pictures in our previous video, when you're adding other colours, when they dry, you get some very interesting things happening. So it's always great to experiment just a little bit. Now I'm just going to maybe use this palette here. Well, some of you may have this one that you're using already. It has lots of different colours on here. So maybe a bit of yellow for this one. So whilst these are still wet, I'm going to add just a little bit of yellow as well. And you can also do the same with your greenery too. So maybe I'll just add a bit of green in that one and a little bit of, I've got moss growing up the side this one, haven't I? That went a bit crazy, that one. Alright, so let's add a few more fish in this one here. And maybe I'll just pick like a nice purple colour for that one. And again, I'm just pressing down, lifting up, pressing down, lifting up. Maybe this one's got maybe 3 fishes in there. Pressing down, lifting up. There we go. And maybe they're swimming this way. So we'll just put a few little fins on the back. And we can add in a few other colours too. Maybe a little bit of red. Maybe some red dots on this one. For some spotty fish. There we go. Okay, now these need to dry, but this is also a really cool way to add more detail is using your fine liner. Now I'm just going to pick some areas here that I know are dry, and you might like to add some, just use the other side of this. You might like to add some squiggly wiggly lines in this one, just to make it a little bit more interesting. Or maybe you'd like to add some cool looking grass and things in this one. So you can use your imagination a little bit, but this again, this just creates more interest and makes the process a bit more fun because we've used the straw, we've used the watercolor, and we've also used the fine liner. And maybe, maybe there's some, little rocks and things down the bottom here. So you can really use your imagination with this one and just bring them to life a little bit. So this one here, maybe I'll add a few little squiggly lines in this one too. And these ones here need to dry just a little bit more, don't they? So I will wait for those to dry. I'm going to add some more details in these little fishes as well. I have one here that I did a little bit earlier, which don't have all the details yet in my fishes. So maybe I'll just show you that one, and you'll be up. This one's got 6 on it. And you can see here, again, this one I just had 1 in there, but again, you can just use your fine liner to add more little details on your fishies. Maybe this one has stripes. So you get the idea. And what was really fun is how easy it was to create all the little fishes just by using the shape of your brush. Look, I've added a starfish in that one already. And this one here, add some little eyes. So yeah, get your fine liners out and just see what other little details you might like to add in these pictures here. This one will add a few more little rocks and things. This one over here needs a few little scales, I think. Let's add a few scales to this one. There we go. Super fun. Okay, so hopefully that's given you a few ideas on what you can add to your little aquariums. Maybe you like to create lots of different colorful fish inside your aquariums. Maybe you've got some other ideas on how you might like to add some more different plant life and stones, or maybe you'd like to add a little house in there, as some aquariums do have. But I really look forward to see how you use your imagination, adding the details at the end. I hope you enjoyed the class, and now you can do aquariums. Well done, guys.